Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about, again, the thought process of how to make your Delta Force weapons insane, okay? I made previous videos like this, but this video will focus more on the thought process of how to actually look at your weapon, know what to adjust on your weapon, and this should be applicable to every single gun in the game because it is a thought process rather than like a guide on every single specific weapon. And I've used this on, well, every single weapon that I've upgraded in the game, and I've had very good results. And this video will include a bunch of other tips that my previous videos did not include. So, without further ado, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And let's get right into these setups. So I'm just going to use the VSS Marksman rifle as one example because I managed to get this build really dialed in. And I'll try to explain things as best as I possibly can. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you're looking at really any gun in the game, doesn't have to be a Marksman rifle, it can be any gun in the game, you want to know what your recoil pattern looks like. And every recoil pattern looks different. So the VSS's recoil pattern, as you can see, it's basically vertical, right? With a slight bend at the end for the past, for the last, I'd say 20 or so shots, maybe 16 shots, it goes basically to the right. But with the knowledge that the first, I counted, 20 shots are basically straight vertical, you don't really have to really worry about stacking control that much. Now, if you get a lot of control like this build has, that's great anyway. But with this in mind, and it being a DMR, you can understand that you can give up a little bit of handling because you're going to be at range. At closest, you want to be at mid-range with a DMR. And you don't want to give up really any stability. In fact, you just want to improve it. And accuracy doesn't matter because it only affects hip fire. So taking a look at this again, come in here. Because it's a DMR, you don't really want a laser on it, in my experience. You're not going to be close to people. Lasers do not increase ADS speed. They only increase hip fire accuracy when your laser's turned on. And yeah, there's really not much of a point in my opinion. So I don't have any laser on this. Barrels. Obviously, this weapon is pretty simplistic. It only has one barrel you can actually select. So you want to select that, obviously, for range muzzle velocity control. You want to calibrate it for muzzle velocity, because again, DMR, and firing stability, because stability is great, and you're not going to really need ADS movement speed. And ADS speed, again, you can give up a little bit of it, because this is a Marksman rifle. Now, let's go take a look at the recoil pattern again. When I saw this, I was like, maybe I should try this grip, extra vertical recoil grip. Sure enough, when I tested against this grip, the Resident Mark II, and the really popular 45-degree angle combat grip, and really any other grip, this grip stands above all the rest. Because while this might have more control, this takes the recoil pattern and squishes it vertically. And I'll show you what that looks like. So if I hover over this, if I click on the 45-degree combat grip, which has a lot of control, and I go to details, I can actually compare. So if you see, if I was using the 45-degree combat grip, it actually has more felt recoil, even though technically it has more control. So it's not as simple as just seeing, oh, green number mean good. No, that's not really how you should be balancing weapons. You should be taking a look at if there are better options. Sure enough, there is. This Resident Ergonomic Grip takes that pattern and squishes it vertically, which means you get a weapon like this. So you can basically spam that for about the first 20 to 22 shots, pulling straight down. As simple as you could possibly want for recoil control. And this is with the 45-round magazine. If you don't want to use the 45-round mag, a 30-round mag would probably be even better. But you know me, I like shooting a lot, right? But if you're more of a positional player, if you're maybe a slower style player, you can absolutely use the 30-round mag and further reduce your recoil, right? And improve your handling by a fairly significant margin. And then, of course, the VSS is fairly simple from an attachments perspective. It only has one stock. Yes, you do want to use it. ADS movement speed, again, doesn't really matter and actually only affects hip fire. You just want to calibrate this stuff for aim stability, scope aim speed, You want to calibrate the grip for extra control and moving stability. Now, why am I calibrating it for stability? Well, if we take a look at the stability stat here, what does it do? Well, stability reduces incoming flinch. I will show you builds later that have crazy low flinch multipliers. I think one has like 0.29. What that means is it takes the flinch that you would receive and it multiplies it by this number. The lower this number is, the better. So that 0.29 flinch build, when I'm getting shot, my flinch is basically non-existent. Moving stability, again, just adds to that sway range, breath duration, recoil reduction while holding breath. So this takes this recoil and multiplies it while holding your breath by 0.8. It's like a 20% recoil reduction on top of this. And I will show you why that's so important. So I'll shoot without breathing. Maybe you can see it's pretty, you know, pretty substantial recoil still, but when I breathe, see how much of a difference that makes? Even though it's just 20%, it's huge. And a big tip I will give to all you guys, go to your keyboard and mouse. This will obviously be able to, you'll be able to do this in controller as well. Controls in combat, and change your hold breath to toggle. This means when you ADS, you can just ADS and hit shift, and look in the bottom left, there's lungs there. I'll zoom in after the edit, and you'll be able to see while you're shooting, you don't even have to hold shift because you just toggled it. So the entire time you're shooting, you're getting that recoil reduction. I find it to be incredibly useful. Now, I'll go and use another weapon here as an example. Let me find my AS Val build, because this is an example of a weapon that I used horizontal recoil control for the first time on. So again, it is sort of a Val. This is a little more complicated of a setup, but the first thing again you want to do is look at your pattern here. When I come to control, and you see the base pattern, really ugly, jagged, horizontal. You know, it goes left, then it goes right, then it starts to go hard right, then it zigzags, and then it goes right again. Really ugly. So I thought to myself, okay, well, I used the extra vertical recoil grip on DMRs. I might as well try an extra horizontal grip on this gun. And sure enough, look how much it softens the horizontal bends in the recoil pattern. It makes a massive difference. And I compared this, once again, to the other popular control grips, the 45. And where is it? Not that one, this one. This grip is definitely my favorite out of all of these. If we compare it to this, you can see while you definitely get a lower vertical recoil, that ugly bend for the first, I'd say in between the first like 12 shots is still there, right? So ideally, you actually don't want to use the 45 grip on this gun because the recoil pattern doesn't allow it to be that viable. Now combine this with the fact that I made sure the stability on this gun is really good. When I breathe, it multiplies that recoil by 0.85, right? So you're getting a further reduction. So let's just take a look what that looks like on a weapon with 1,000 RPM almost, 972 RPM. Now, it might look ugly, but this has significantly less recoil than it looks. It's just shaky because of the visual recoil. This thing is a laser. Look at that. I killed that guy out to 100 meters out there with no problem. Again, you're going to want to calibrate the barrel here for muzzle velocity and firing stability. Arguably, you can do ADS movement speed on ARs. It's just sort of personal preference. And on ARs, I like to have a laser just because it does increase your hipfire accuracy, which I'll show you here. While it's on by default, if you hold Y, you can actually turn it off and see. Watch, pay attention to the crosshair here in the center. It does substantially increase hipfire accuracy when it's on. However, it does not impact handling unless you are in this mode. Now coming back in here, again, you're going to want to calibrate the grips for ADS speed here and moving stability. The stability is very important. Again, optionally, you can choose the 30-round mag or 45-round mag. I like the 45-round mag, but I'll show you the M4A1 setup that I just made. You don't have to go for the big mags every single time, and I'll explain why. Now, a different grip selection here. I opted for the control and handling grip over this grip because, again, it messes your stability up, and stability is really important. So I just said, okay, let's just go for a net positive, calibrate it for moving stability and aiming stability while breathing. And then for the stock, I will subsidize the extra control with stability because I have handling to give up rather. So this results in a gun that has a significantly reduced recoil pattern on top of incredible stability with a better recoil reduction multiplier and good handling. Right? That's the result. So I really, and by the way, guys, the codes for these builds will be in the weapons description, will be in the YouTube video's description. And the last weapon I'll show you is the M4A1. The M4A1 has undergone many different iterations. And let me just apply this current iteration right here. So, with the M4A1, it really is the same sort of thought process. Has a much simpler recoil pattern, so you can just really focus on a lot of different things here. But in general, you are going to want to stack a lot of control. You are going to want to make sure your stability is really good. And we're going to make sure you get your handling as low as you possibly can get it. So how do I do this on this? Well, I come in here and I like to use the longest range barrel possible. It does screw your handling a bit. It does screw your accuracy. Accuracy does not really matter, but it gives you great range of muzzle velocity, which is very important. Lots of control and lots of stability. You can make up most of the handling, and the accuracy, again, doesn't really matter because you have a laser anyway, right? Calibrate that for muzzle velocity, firing stability, and slap on Poseidon flash hider. I did experiment with suppressors. I find they don't really matter, to be honest. So that's kind of depressing. And then for the little patches here, you can stack control, but if you want, there's nothing wrong with stacking 50-50 control and 50-50 recoil or stability if you find the recoil isn't a problem for you in the first place. That's why the M4 platforms are really good. You have a ton of these little patches you can do. I mean, what is this gonna have? 6 of them? So you have a lot of flexibility here. I would recommend stacking either full control or 50-50 control with stability or handling. Now, the dilemma I was running into with this build is I was using this grip before, and it really screwed the handling. I was not happy with the ADS time. So I said, well, why don't I just use a grip with just pure net positives? And sure enough, I think this is my favorite build that I've gotten so far with the M4A1. Now, you'll notice I'm not using the drum magazine. That is because I don't think you can get a satisfactory build while using the drum magazine without sacrificing a lot. The 45-round mag I found in my experience is totally fine, makes your recoil better, makes your handling better, and you won't really find yourself running out of ammo a lot. Now, coming over to the sights here, I do have a laser on because, again, it does increase your hipfire accuracy by a fairly significant margin. And you notice I'm double riser stacked. If you don't know what this means, I'm using the Hydra riser and then putting another microsight riser on there, and I'm slapping on a panoramic red dot. The reasoning for this is the risers actually, when combined with each other, give you a net positive to handling and ADS speed. Okay? That is why people double riser stack. Now, the final parts of the build here, I will take a look at the grip and the stock. The Phantom rear grip, I chose this over some other grips because it gives me a lot of handling and I can make up the stability in the stock. So I chose this, calibrated it for moving stability and aiming stability while breathing. And then I chose, again, the UR Spec Ops Tactical stock. I really love this stock. Ton of control, stability, and doesn't really affect your handling that much. And you can get some ADS speed back from calibration anyway. The result is this. I mean, it's... it is definitely a laser. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is not one of those no recoil builds. I saw some comments on my other videos that were like, oh, Enders, I tried this build and it still has recoil, bro. I don't understand. Well, yeah, dude, it's going to have recoil. This is a balanced build. You can absolutely, if you want, throw on max recoil control attachments. Like, as you can see, gain control here. You can probably gain some extra vertical recoil control. You can absolutely gain extra control by using, multiple different grips and multiple different stock combinations. But this is a balanced build that, in my opinion, gives you the best of everything, right? Lower flinch, longer breath duration, more recoil reduction, on top of, decent handling, better recoil pattern. That's the thought process. So I hope this video informed you guys. Maybe you guys can link me some awesome builds of your own in the comments section. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Really helps this video get to the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. First link in the description. I hope you guys will drop by, and I'll see you guys in the next video.